Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mind Your Own Business. I'm Dr. Erin, and this is the last class week of the Higher Life Project, where we've talked about what it means to be a high performer, which means you're happy, joyous, and free, right? And we've talked about the pillars of high performance that the research says are just the same every time, and it's clarity, necessity, energy, productivity. There's another whole topic of influence, which is sales, that we can talk about in the future. And then this last pillar, and if you study high performers, lo and behold, they have a lot of courage. So open up your chat rooms and show me with a show of hands, if you would, in your APL Go business, would you like to be more courageous? Would you like to be more courageous in some area? Okay. And if you didn't raise your hand, it tells me that you've practiced growing the muscle of being courageous. And I think that's amazing. Let me see, make sure everyone's getting in here. Okay. So just think about where in your APL Go business would you like to be more courageous, and share that in the chat room, and think about the 5 steps. Is it having conversations with people? Is it inviting people? Is it presenting and using the tools? Is it the follow-up? Ding, 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 just kidding. And is it collecting a decision? Closing the sale means opening up an opportunity for people, right? According to Travis Flaherty. I love that. Yeah, so there's areas that you might be more courageous than others, right? That makes sense. So I'm going to share with you a truth bomb here that might rock your world. And it might be something you've heard before, and it might be like, what? This is so counterculture. So who here would like to experience anxiety and fear on the daily? No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Wah, wah. But you want to be courageous. So we've got a problem, my friends, because the definition of courage is to act in spite of fear, is to act alongside of fear. It's actually not courageous if you're not experiencing some level of discomfort. By definition, it's not courageous. It's the weirdest thing, right? It's this interesting, oh yeah, that's the definition of courage. And so things that used to be courageous for me no longer are, because I have built my muscle of courage around them. But we all have things in our life that take us out of our comfort zone, right? Who here has accomplished something really, 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 really great and profound in your life when you were totally comfortable? Probably not. Of all the really, 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 really great, profound things you've done in your life, did it involve some struggle, perseverance, courage? Yes. So we have to figure this out. Okay. So first, I also want you to understand that you're not going to get courage from me today. You already are courageous. So where in your life, put in the chat room, where in your life have you been courageous? There's your whole life you've been courageous in many, many ways. So it's not something you don't have. It's something you're just going to need to apply in the delivery room. Oh my gosh, so good. That's the best. That is such a great answer. Okay, that is so good. So little Zachary, he's 10 and he's going to a new school and he's checking out his classroom today. And all week he's like, Mom, I'm really at the same time excited, but I'm really anxious. I don't know where he gets this from, like all these feelings and emotional expression skills, but I'm like, of course you're anxious. Childhood is just one anxiety experience after another. Throw you into strangers and go make friends and pretend that you like it. I mean, I'm just like, of course you're anxious. That's terrifying. And you're going to be great. But like, I'm not telling him it's not terrifying. Thank you for sharing, Monica and Jolene. Yes. And Anna. Yes. Oh my gosh. And becoming an entrepreneur, right? Okay. So you've already been courageous. If I were to ask you, how do you become a great tennis player? What would you say? Captain Obvious strikes again, Kevin. Practice. If you want to become patient, what do you have to practice? You have to practice patience. So to be courageous, my friends, we must practice being courageous. Okay, so here's the really good news. Over time, all the science set shows is when you practice being courageous, you get a shot of dopamine. Wherever you practice being courageous. I first practiced courage in the gym. Going to graduate school was not courageous for me. That was like, I am a professional learner. You all know this. I went and got every degree I possibly could. I loved school. That was not courageous for me. Speaking was, but my first in my life, getting out of depression and changing my life, my first courage muscle building exercises was at the gym. You study Tony Robbins, Ed Milet, a lot of them will actually say this is a very common experience. And they also point to, and I'm digressing a second here, but they push themselves physically just a little bit every single day. And what it looks like is it's like one more rep, or you want to get off at 45 minutes and you stay until 46. And you're training your brain, or you go a little farther than you think you could when you want to throw up, like you just go a little farther. And yeah, so it gives you a shot of dopamine. It's why I'm so happy all the time, right? There's many reasons, and then over time, what happens is your brain becomes a courageous brain. So if you experience fear and anxiety, it just tells me that's something that's been programmed into you or a result of something you've experienced. So neither good nor bad. Oh, that came from somewhere. And now I get to mind my mind and work through that, okay? So the human brain's job, and we've talked about this on past classes, the human brain's job, one of its biggest jobs, is to protect us. Now, the definition of entrepreneurship means we have to try new stuff all the time and grow. So again, Houston, we have a problem, right? And so here's the thing. When you notice the anxiety in your body, you're going to use your mind to talk back to it, okay? Because you cannot necessarily control what's happening. These are automatic. They're wired in. It's programmed until it's unprogrammed. So you're going to notice, oh, wow, this is information. Okay, so this is what I'm going to tell you that you are not going to hear out there. Feelings are not liars. Fear is not a liar. It sounds great on a t-shirt. If indeed feelings are not bad or good, then we've got to throw in fear with all the rest of them. So if feelings are not liars, what are they? Feelings are information. Do you know anger often leads me to be reflective? My anger is like, let me reflect on this. What don't I like? How can I solve this? What's agitating me? Why is this agitating me? Jealousy causes me to be curious. Oh, I want what she has. How can I get what she has? How can I possibly do what she did? Or what do we have in common? Frustration, discontentment is information that leads me to get curious about gratitude and what I can be grateful for. And fear, my friends, is information. And it says, pay attention here. We're about to crash and burn, potentially, psychologically, get eaten by the lion. Like we're about to fail or be rejected or have people laugh at us or once again, not reach our dreams. Pay attention, woman. Pay attention, man. Fear is not a liar. Fear is information. Feelings are information. Isn't that great news? It's great news. Because then we can say, oh, okay. So what next? Okay, so one of the techniques that I think will really help you get more courageous is what I call the wondering technique. And let me back up a step. So fear often looks like what ifing our whole entire life, right? We all know this. We've lived with this inside of our head our whole life. What if this doesn't work? What if? We are going to use the wondering technique to train our brains to what if in the opposite direction. And it goes something like this. I wonder, and then you're going to wonder what you want, okay? Because remember, the brain goes and searches for what you tell it to go look for, and you can't necessarily have full control over every thought you have. And so we need to train it. I wonder which of these 10 calls I make is going to lead to my next customer or associate. I wonder how much fun I'm going to have with my next associate. I wonder if it's going to be a man or a woman. I wonder if they're going to be a network marketing professional. I wonder if they're going to be new. I wonder all the time. I wonder who will be sitting with us at convention that we don't know right now. I wonder what it will feel like to actually, be handed the keys to the Cabo house, whatever. Like, I wonder what it will feel like to not have anxiety rule my life. I wonder how great that will feel. I wonder. Okay. Does that make sense? The number one trait of successful people, according to Harvard Business and lots of psychology studies, is curiosity. So in business, you can see why that would make a lot of sense. And in our mindset, you can see in personal development why curiosity makes everything change and more accessible to you, because you're telling your brain to wonder towards the things you want to wonder about. Okay. So if courage is acting with fear, you can also say things like, well, come along then, because we've got a job to do. You're annoying, but I guess you're here. So I'm going to go and present right now. Sit down. When you can have what's called cognitive diffusion, it's a fancy word a psychologist use for realizing your thoughts are not you, that they are something that you can observe. You have the power, right? And I was watching Dr. Joe Dispenza, who we love, right? And he was talking about how this actually will change your physiology, and your physiology of anxiety tells your brain that we need to freak out and be prepared, that the lion doesn't get us psychologically, blah, 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 right? So all of this actually will quiet down the brain and it won't send you those signals anymore. So fear, oh, you're going to show up? Really? Okay. Well, you're probably just telling me that something important's about to happen. Or you're showing up because you always show up when I get in these situations because of something I learned. My whole life, my sister, God bless her, but she would, whenever I talked, basically, it felt like, at least, it's a story I'm making for myself, but many times when I talked or shared a story, she would jump in and just be like, you are just terrible at telling stories. And you're just, nothing I said made sense. And so I learned, like, I'm not going to talk. Like, that's pretty effective to not get ridiculed. And, hence my fear of public speaking, and all of that grew. So whatever fear you have, it's coming from somewhere. Instead of just saying, oh, fear, you're a liar. Well, no, you're not. You're popping up because I'm talking and I have a memory that when I talk, I'm a terrible talker. This is a problem. So now I get to say, I got it. I know why you're showing up. She's not here. You have more evidence that you're fine at talking now, whatever, right? You get the point. But once you can start minding your mind, talking to yourself, observing, detaching, and getting some distance from your thoughts, it will help them become less believable and less true and less frequent and less intense. Less true, believable, frequent, and intense. I wonder how that new teeny tiny bathing suit will look when I'm wearing it. Totally wonder that. Okay, so feelings are not liars. Fear is not a liar. Feelings are information. Let's look at it and let's say, I've got a goal I'm going to go after. I've got people I need to help. You sit down, and over time, you change the wiring up here, and you will no longer be afraid in those situations. And you'll have to find new situations to be courageous, because those won't count because you're not afraid. I don't get points for being courageous in a lot of things that I used to be scared of, right? Like, and you'll find new things that move you out of your comfort zone. So let's end there and let's open up for discussion. But thank you for joining the Higher Life Project, and we'll see you next time.